Good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's virtual concert hosted by Bright Eyed Daughters. Tonight should have been our annual dinner at Mansfield House, so we were delighted to be asked to host tonight's concert. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lorna Reid and privileged to be the Bright Eyed Daughters President. To start our proceedings this evening is past President Caroline Wilkinson to sing our very own song, Where Teviot Tumbles Doon, written for us by Mr Alan Bryden.
Hilltop spring to the mighty Tweed, you embark on a wondrous journey. Bright streams join in where the Borthwick feeds, as you flow where the hearts are yearning for the special time of year. All teary thoughts hot dear, where Teviot Tumbles Doon on a sunny day in June. With splash and spray as it winds its way through the famous grey Altoon. Through the park you glide, old Wilton's bride is the centre of sport and leisure. The heron looks out on the salmon and trout as you reflect Mother Nature's treasures, and the cornet cheers you through as he dips the banner blue, where Teviot Tumbles Doon on a sunny day in June. With splash and spray as it winds its way through the famous grey Altoon. Still on you go by the high school and shows till you meet with the Slitrig water. You swirl at the plum as you join as one through the home of the bright-eyed daughters, where children laugh and play and men defend our ways, where Teviot Tumbles Doon on a sunny day in June. With splash and spray as it winds its way through the famous grey Altoon. You soak in the sounds of the songs of the town, which will ever be sung with passion. Each stitch and twill from the skills of the mill, still the pride of the world's top fashioned. And you roar as you roll by the home of the Robbie Dies, where Teviot Tumbles Doon on a sunny day in June. With splash and spray as it winds its way through the famous grey Altoon.
Thank you, Caroline. Wonderful as always. Rebecca Jackson will now sing My Borderland. This is Rebecca's first time entertaining at a Bright Eyed Daughters event, but has sung at Common Ride events before. Rebecca will be followed by Bright Eyed Daughters member Evelyn Armstrong, who has also entertained at many Common Riding events and also at our dinner on many occasions. Evelyn will sing the Meadus song.
Tis not the rugged grandeur of my native heather hills, tis not the songs of rivers, nor the sounds of tinkling rills, tis the voice of love and friendship none but natives understand, that calls me to the bosom right that sparkles bright in all things nobly planned. With joyful heart till death us part, I love my borderland. 'Tis not the birds in springtime bringing music to the trees. 'Tis not the flowers of autumn lending fragrance to the breeze. 'Tis the gentle touch of kindness from the ever-helping hand that drives all care and sadness from my own dear borderland. My borderland, the sweetest sport I know, as all things fair and all things rare have proudly deemed it so. And by God's right that sparkles bright in all things nobly planned, with joyful heart till death us part, I love my borderland. 'Tis not the tints of autumn ere the fall of winter snow. 'Tis not the calm acquainted where the storms have ceased to blow. 'Tis the freedom of the people in one great big happy band that calls me to the Eden of my own dear borderland. My borderland, the sweetest sport I know, as all things fair and all things rare have proudly deemed it so. And by God's light that sparkles bright in all things nobly planned, with joyful heart till death us part, I love my borderland. Oh, they may sing, O hitherland, o craig and wild ravine, o mountain peaks that soar aloft into an azure sheen, and they may tell of valleys fair bedecked with gorgeous flowers, o palm-grown isles where luscious fruits perfume the radiant wood. But gie to me the hills and heath, the clod that fleck the lea, the primrose on the sunny brae, the fragrant hawthorn tree. Give me the bonny broomy now, the burn that round it rains, wi' plush and spurt and peaceful puddle and money woods and inns. for sins that in the past, the borderland, my first love and my last.
Thank you, girls. Bright Eye Daughters was founded by Judith Murray and Leslie Fraser in 2008. I'm not going to say any more as they're here tonight to tell us what inspired them to set up Bright Eye Daughters and a little bit about it.
Hello, Judith and Leslie here. We've been back a long way, Leslie and I. Leslie reckons I was Miss Cavers when she did her primary visit to the high school, but I just remember Leslie in higher art class. I suppose our downfall is Leslie and I have both got vivid imaginations. And when I look back on the project we've done, that's been what's drawn you together. Mm-hmm. And we worked really well together. Way back, I would always get in touch with Leslie if I needed something for the 15-14 art competition, if I needed visual aids. And then it began to be that Judith and Leslie became a kind of double act. And if somebody needed something done, they would say, oh, Judith and Leslie could do that. So we helped promote the 15-14 art competition. And then the Moss Troopers Club got in touch with to do the Jed Murray 150th anniversary. This was way back in 2008. Mm-hmm. And since then, we've just always had this partnership of working together. Now, I'm going to pass you on to Leslie to say give you a kind of brief history of Bright Eye Daughters, because I would take too long. And we could be sitting here all night. But if I pass you on to Leslie, and she'll try and tell you what we've achieved.
Right, as Judith says, we did some work for the Moss Troopers on the Jed Murray exhibition and thing, and during that we'd been discussing things that we could do to help the 15-14 art competition, and I came out with a fatal phrase, I've had an idea, and it's always fatal when I always say that, but the idea was to make a comic book for the schools so teachers and kids could actually see images of the common riding. So we set to work on creating a book, but it soon became apparent that we needed fundraising for that. So to do that, we had to form an association, and that's how the Bright Eye Daughters was born, because we had to form a group. So we formed the Bright Eye Daughters, we went and visited lots of clubs, we got in touch with lots of people that give us information for books, and in 6 months we managed to get the books together, which was the kids' book and the adults' book, and they came out in May 2009, and that was when it was launched to the schools. And from that, it was so successful that at the June of that year we decided to do a nursery book for the following year. And in 2010, as a way to thank everybody that had helped us, we thought we'd try a dinner and see how it went. Seeing as we'd formed this association, we thought it's too good to leave just for books. So we took the opportunity to try and make a new association in the town, and that's how the Bright Eye Daughters, as most people know it, was formed. So, as well as the dinner, we also have other social events, and those were used to try and fund the education packages further. As well as the books, we also provided PowerPoints and packs for the teachers at the schools.
Did we workshops
at the heart of Hawick, and we helped with the big sing. That was a big event. We helped coordinate that as the Bright Eye Daughters. For the lasses and that, we've given them benches to sit at the hat. They get rugs every year to keep them warm at the hat when it's cold, or sit and picnic on. We gave them benches, tables as well for a year. I think next it'll be a gazebo thereafter. So we've done quite a lot as a group, not just in the education side, but for the last season thing in general, and hopefully through the dinner we've been educating this folk how dinners work and what happens at they kind of things, because a lot of women have never been at they kind of things, so it's a different thing again.
I think what was at the back of our mind was that we realised that kids didn't have very much knowledge of the good things about the common riding, and some kids had never even been up the moor. So that was always at the back of our mind when we were even writing the books, how important it was to try and make a legacy through Bright Eyed Daughters for the kids. It's not been always plain sailing though. I mean, it wasn't easy, some of the things we were trying to do, and we had some cracking memories made, didn't we?
We had some good laughs doing it and some tearing out as well, but
I
think a lot of things.
I remember most for me was the books, which we managed to write in 6 months, amazingly. Rupert being the character behind the books was right special, because Rupert was my horse. I'd had him for 27 years. He died when he was 32, and he died in 2007, and we was working on the book in 2008, and Leslie's clever manipulation of the photographs of him was able to kind of bring him back to life again, and the kids loved Rupert, didn't they?
It was good. It was a good way. It looked at other ways, but that was, I think, the best way to take everybody through the common
riding. When we did our Tower Mill presentations, I used to tell them Rupert's nicknames. That always went down well. The other special moments were the first dinner.
That was good.
Because we had Zandra Elliott, lovely Zandra, speaking as our guest speaker, and I'll never forget sitting at the top table looking out and seeing the just the smiling faces and the camaraderie and the feel-good factor, wasn't it? And that continued right through every dinner, didn't it?
It has, and I mean the biggest dinner was in 2014 when we had, I think it was 180 people at the dinner, and that was some sight at Mansfield Rugby Club, looking out and having 4 rows with 180 women sitting. It was quite noisy as well, it has to be said, but it was a good night.
It was.
But other nice bits was when we had schools events, and we had Bert Armstrong come in and sing to the kids, and he was really good with them. He used to talk about when he was a boy and started singing, and he fair enjoyed his day out with us and speaking to all the kids.
And when we presented the kids with the books, you could tell how excited they were, weren't they?
It was, and that's even when they came into the shop here and they saw the books, they got excited because they wanted them and had to get
and really, as soon as we had written the books, they became historical, didn't they?
They were, because as soon as we got them published, something changed at the Common Riding, so they were out of date, and that's the same with everything. So they're historical books. That's what the Common Riding Life was like at the time when we wrote it, and it gives it, but the imagery is still there for people to see. So folk maybe didn't see the dipping of the flag and always thought the wrong end of the other end of the flag was dipped, so they learned something there, or maybe the cutting of the sword, which no a lot of people see, or even the mare itself. There's folk never get up the mare, so it gave kids thing, and because we included shows and as much as we could, there was something that each kid could identify with in the Common Riding.
I think we should finish with the funniest moments though, because we say we wrote the books in 6 months. The only reason we managed to write the books in 6 months was because actually I was off work for 3 months with a prolapsed disc, and and my memory is lying on my back, which was the only position that was remotely comfortable, and speaking to Leslie while she was on the computer. And Smudge was in the middle of it.
Aye. I smudged like the committee meetings. You used to pinch things out of folks' bags. But it was I think when we took the trip to get the computer, and Judith was in the back of the car lying down, and I was driving along, and it looked like I was speaking to myself in the car, and then I had to link her into the shop to could actually go and get what we needed. I must have thought, what a pair come in here.
There was all the silver lining though. That's how we got the books written.
That's it. So no, it's been a good experience. I think it's been a good, for a simple idea of I've had an idea to the association we've got now. It's promoted so much in the town. I think it's been a great asset to the town, and hopefully folk will keep joining in, and the education days will get bigger and better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Rachel Ingalls, another of our members, to sing Bonnie Teviot Dale, and Marley Chiori to sing I Like Old Hawick the Best. Rachel is a director with Act One and Marley a member. Both Rachel and Marley are well-known entertainers at common riding events.
and thought and art, and goodwill to every man. And when I'll take, I leave you, be my wish when far away, when the Teviot flows to the northern sea, you may ply at the loom as today. For I like old Hawick and her folks, I like our men and maidens free. Sweet memories dwell in the gate old tin that I've been kind to me.
That was great, girls. Thank you. Our membership secretary, Mrs. Leslie Fraser, will now tell us how you can become a member of Bright Eyed Daughters.
Bright Eyed Daughters membership is open to anyone. The membership for under 18s is free. Unfortunately, they cannot attend any over 18 functions. Yearly membership for Bright Eyed Daughters is £10 and is payable before the 31st of January each year. When members reach their 65th birthday, they then become a life member and no longer pay the yearly subscription. If you would like to become a member, please send a message through Messenger to the Bright Eyed Daughters and we will get back to you. We look forward to welcoming some new members.
Our next singer is Natalie Darcy. Natalie was also a member of Act 1, but is now a member of Hawick Amateur Operatic Society and has entertained at Border Club Common Riding concerts. She will sing Old Mill Town.
I'm looking down on this old mill town, making my way back home, remembering childhood games, old familiar names, places I've always known. However my life may unfold, there's one thing that I'll always hold. Though I'm forever roving, my heart is interwoven with the fabric of this old mill town. Beneath my feet where the rivers meet, captured in ancient rhyme, to hear those songs of the days long gone, a bridge spanning over
Thank you, Natalie, and your accompanists, David and Drew. It gives me great pleasure to ask well-known local businesswoman and first president of Bright Eyed Daughters, Joyce Tinlin, to propose a toast to the club.
Weel kent are the streets, and familiar the places o' this old mill toon that I'll aye like the best. President Lorna and our bright-eyed daughters, I hope you are all having a nice evening, albeit in very different circumstances. I am sure you will all be doing what we as bright-eyed daughters do well, dressing up for the occasion, no doubt, and enjoying a wee drink to celebrate this important dinner date in our diary. Our ain old toon and our community has suffered greatly in this pandemic, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and next year, God willing, we will all be seated together, dining in style, and observing the high standards we have been accustomed to. So many talented, bright-eyed daughters in the hall, and of course at the top table. Lorna and her committee are to be congratulated on keeping our association very much on the Hawick calendar, taking part in Zoom meetings, education projects, and of course our continued interest in our beloved Horns Hole. Well done to all involved. We all have something to give in some shape or form, and we do our best for what we have and what's around us. The Bright Eyed Daughters Association has grown both in respect and achievement, and we should all be very proud of its well-earned status in the town. As a bright-eyed daughter, not being able to celebrate our common riding stirs up memories of years gone by. Pickin' night and the sound of the drums and fifes, hearing your favourite songs, the beat of the drum on the return from Ospol, the first sighting of the banner blue, and of course, admiring the lassies' outfits on Kirkin Sunday, the colour bussing and the ball. Lorna and I have been friends for many, many years. Both Sunday school teachers at St Margaret's in Wilton South at the station, now demolished. And if the Kirkin was at Wilton Church, we used to make sure we were finished in time to see the cornets walk. A quick bite to eat, and then we headed off to the moor, on foot, I may add, in time to greet the cornet and his party after the wreath-laying ceremony at Horns Hole. We had only been at the Wimpy the night before, so we were as fresh as paint. And sadly, for the second year running, we have to rely on memories from previous common ridings, perhaps with a tear in our eye or a fit o' the giggles. Gone are the days when you dressed sensibly for ride-outs or the moor. I remember the excitement getting dressed up for the cornet visiting the school, a new dress, new white sandals and ankle socks. I remember one year when Judith and I met her mum at the co-op, or the store as it was affectionately known, and we got matching navy bell-bottoms and t-shirts. We got new rosettes every year, and we spent most of the Friday looking for the cornet and his lass so we could get the ribbons signed. Picnics too have changed beyond recognition. Gone are the Hills or Hutton's meat paste sandwiches and a Jacob's fruit club. I often wonder what my dad would have made of a panini or a wrap or one of Robert's bagels. Our mugs never matched, and Tupperware boxes kept sandwiches fresh. You got them on the Saturday if they hadn't been eaten. The stalls too were always tempting. When we stopped buying silly hats, balloons or a doll, we got a new handbag and felt very grown up. Yes, a lot of water has flowed under Drumlandrick Brig, and although trends have changed, the excitement is still evident when we, as bright-eyed daughters and our families, support our common riding, our cornet and his followers. For those of you who know me well, you'll know I'm a right home bird, a bit like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home, or in my case, there's nae place like hame. It doesn't matter if you've had a day at the seaside, a trip to Carlisle or Edinburgh, a weekend break or your summer holiday. Hame's best. Alec Dalglish, lead singer with the popular Scottish group Skerryvore, penned the words. Paradise is wherever your people are. You're alive with the people you love. So on that note, thank you to Lorna and her committee for ensuring the Bright-Eyed Daughters have Hawick's best interests at heart, and we wish our association continued success as we recognise and proudly remember where Slitrick dances doon the glen to join the Teviot waters. There dwell Auld Hawick's honest men and Hawick's bright-eyed daughters. Please raise a glass and join me in a toast to Hawick's bright-eyed daughters. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Making her debut at a Bright-Eyed Daughters event is Jasmine Davidson, but Jasmine is no stranger to entertaining, especially at Hawick Sings in the Burns Club. Jasmine will sing Up Wi' Auld Hawick. Hopefully you'll all join in with the chorus.
There's a tun by hills surrounded, stands by bonny Teviot's side, famous lang in border story. We recall her feats with pride, as her sons were ever foremost in the foray and the fray. Ever foremost you will find them in life's peaceful strive today. Then up we all talk, oh the border she's queen, let fraternity reign, ilka teeny between, for lads leal and true and lassies braw and fair. There's nae tune among them all, can we your tune compare? We've a flag won by the valour of our fearless sires of yore. We've a common we'll defend it from the spoiler evermore. We've a moat which down the ages witnessed mony a deed of fame, when in might Hawick's sons are rising, drove invasion back again. Then up we all talk, oh the border she's queen, let fraternity reign, ilka teeny between, for lads leal and true and lassies braw and fair. There's nae tune among them all, can we your tune compare? Shout aloud the grand old slogan, spread the banner to the gale, and as year to year is added, let them tell proud freedom's tale. And though youth gives place to manhood, and old age each life steals o'er, may each teary be a callant, it is heard forevermore. Then up we all talk, oh the border she's queen, let fraternity reign, ilka teeny between, for lads leal and true and lassies braw and fair. There's nae tune among them all, can we your tune make the merry drums to rattle. Let the fife scream shrill and clear. Sweeter than Apollo's numbers is their music to my ear. East to west unite their greetings, as on soft June zephyrs borne. Absentees' thoughts fly homewards on each common riding morn. Then up we all hike, oh, the border she's queen. Let fraternity reign, ilka deary between. For lads leal and true, and lassies broad fair, there's nae tune among them a', can we our tune compare.
Thank you, Jasmine, and your backing group, the Goldie Girls and their mum. In 2018, we held our first Education Day. Bright Eye Daughters Vice President and Education Committee member Janice Chapman will tell us about it, and Stacey Russell, a teacher from Drumlandrick St Curbet School, will tell us about it from a teacher's perspective.
The Bright Eye Daughters Education Day was first held in May 2018. The purpose of the day was to teach children about the common riding through a day of fun-filled activities, reenactments and games. The committee enlisted an army of willing volunteers to share their knowledge and enthusiasm for all things common riding and to help them make the day a great success. It was so well received by the children and the schools, it was decided to repeat the experience in 2019 and annually after that. So the second day in May 2019 saw all Primary 6 children in every school in the town gather at the Cobble Pool to witness a reenactment of the dipping of the flag. From there, everyone processed along the avenue to the Bright Eyed Daughters seat at the bridge, where Michael Aitken sang to the company. The children then made their way to the War Memorial. Each school had nominated 3 children to lay a small posy at the foot of the memorial, which was carried out in a sombre and dignified way. Next, the children gathered on the field at the sports pavilion and in mixed school groups were sent off to participate in activities which would be fun to do while teaching the children about the ceremonials, the history and the activities that make up the common riding. They learned how to do the Grand March. They took part in a reenactment of the colour passing, taking key parts of Cornet's Lass and Cornet. They learned of the Cornet's tie and designed a tie of their own. They heard about what it was like to be a cornet. They made biscuits and had fun at the photo booth and the swing boats. We had a picnic followed by the arrival of the Cornet's Lass and the acting mother and father, who joined in with a rousing sing-song of common riding songs. The day ended with children returning to their schools, exhausted but full of enthusiasm and knowledge of the common riding.
The Bright Eye Daughters Education Day for P6 was a super day. The kids all embraced all the activities and got involved, which was brilliant. The kids spoke mostly about things like decorating biscuits and hearing from an ex-cornet about his experience when he was cornet. So that was great for them to sort of hear that firsthand. One of the highlights for me was, I think, seeing the reenactment of the colour busing. It was great to see the kids really kind of taking seriously the ceremony that is the colour busing and having a go of saying what, you know, the speeches and what they needed to say and then tying the ribbons on the flag. It was great. The girls had their hats on and the cornet, who was in Primary 6, wore the green jacket. So that was, you know, a great experience for them. They also took part in a Grand March, which was good fun. it's probably something they've not seen before. There was various things that the kids probably haven't seen or had experience of before. So it was good for them to get an insight into those sort of aspects of the common riding that maybe not, wouldn't maybe know as much about. Another highlight I would say would be the laying of the posies at the War Memorial. I think that, again, the kids took really seriously what it was all about, and we'd previously talked about the World War I as a topic, so I think they really kind of knew how serious it was, and that it was very quiet and sombre when they laid their posies, which was brilliant. I think the Bright Eyed Daughters did a brilliant job of organising lots of different activities, really, that were a good mixture of fun, but also just educational and all about the different aspects of the common riding. The kids loved it, but they also took away a lot of things that they maybe didn't necessarily know about the common riding before. And I think that balance was really well met by the Bright Eyed Daughters. And I think all the volunteers as well were brilliant with the kids, and just made them feel at home. And there was a real buzz about the place on that day. Lunch involved a picnic, kind of up the mayor style. So all the kids from all the schools were in mixed groups, and they sat in their mixed groups for lunch, which was lovely to see, giving them the opportunity to chat about the common riding and just about what they'd all been up to that day. So they had their lunch, and then they were treated to an ice cream from the ice cream van, which was great, and the staff got one too, even better. And right at the end, a wee surprise that the kids didn't know about was that the cornet and his party arrived, and they had a wee sing-song with them. So that was good as well, a nice way to round off a really, really good day. A huge thank you to everybody involved, and hopefully it's something that will be able to continue for years to come, and that other primary sixes will be able to be involved in.
Thank you, ladies. Our next entertainer is Ellis Hodgins, a keen-mounted supporter of our common riding and daughter of Moss Troopers President Graham Hodgins. Ellis will sing Boy with a Flag.
From a township that was fearing and a faith that held no goal, rode the youth with determination, all sent out to protect their homes. With spears and halberds, swords and clubs, approach with just and fear, as an enemy of the common grounds was laying patiently. When you set me off to battle with the trust to save our land, I rode back up to Hawick with the pride in my heart. I came back with a boy with a flag. For nearly 500 years the common stood hard and firm, as we grew to share and celebrate and let good folk join in. For her charm and grace, successfulness can never be compared or tried. When a crowd of 10,000 townsfolk see the proud youth's flag held high, when you set me off to battle with the trust to save our land, I rode back up to Hawick with a pride in my heart. I came back with a boy with a flag. So fuel up your minds and fire up your hearts and ride on. Ride on and ride on, and when your days are darker, put your foot down harder. Ride on. Ride on and ride on. And when you set me off to battle with the trust to save our land, I rode back up to Hawick with the pride in my heart. I came back with a boy with a flag. When you set me off to battle with the trust to save our land, With a pride in my heart, I came back with a boy with a flag.
Thank you, Ellis. In 2010, I was privileged to be invited to the first Bright Eyed Daughters dinner in the Border Club. Also in attendance were the Cornet's Lass, right and left hand lass and acting mother. The speaker was the late Provost Sandra Elliott. The following year, because our membership had grown, we changed the venue to Mansfield Rugby Club, where we held our dinner for the next 7 years. The last 2 dinners were held at Mansfield House Hotel. Our guest speakers have been Madge Elliott, Janice Chapman, Leslie Turnbull, ex-Cornet's Lass Ruth Murray, Debbie Lyons, Lisa Scott, ex-Cornet's Lass Megan Graham, Catherine Schooler and past President Joyce Tinlin. After a lovely meal each time, we were kept well entertained by our guest singers and members of our association. We look forward to being able to hold our dinner again once these different and difficult times are over. Our next singer is Hawick Amateur Operatic Society and Bright Eyed Daughter member Ashley Wolfe, who will sing The Border Queen.
Where sledge dances to the glen to join the Teviot waters, there dwells old Hawick's honest men, and Hawick's bright-eyed daughters, and will he rue the Giddleton, he'll look free empty enden. She aye has kept the cause a croon, and ever independent. What the lads are wilder we, and ill to keep in order. Man either tune, she bears the green, the queen o' the border. Bowed forest trees let gallop brag, we care not what belong them. They henny teary autumn flag, there's no moat among them. They henny common pastures beats, they've neither grants nor charters. A sour plum tree, a fox that sits upon its hinder quarters. What the lads are wilder we, and ill to keep in order. Man either tune, she bears the green, the queen o' the border. Unfold a teary autumn flag to kiss the breeze o' summer, and list again the inspiring strain, led on by what the drummer. The halberdiers with battens clear, like sunbeams brightly glancing. The cornet and his merry, merry men on middle steeds are prancing. What the lads are wilder we, and ill to keep in order. Man either tune, she bears the green, the queen o' the border. Then let the brollards come the morn, and ilken bring his dearie. They'll wish that they had ne'er been born, or else be born a teary. And up we Hawick 3 times 3, the loon that winna cost them. Then hang upon the sour plum tree, and sleep in Ettrick Forest. What the lads are wilder we, and ill to keep in order. Man either tune, she bears the green, Hawick's queen o' the border.
Thank you, Ashley. Bright Eyed Daughters Treasurer Libby Smith will tell us about our fundraising events and other things we are involved with.
You have had an update from Janice and Stacey giving information about our Education Day, which we are very proud and committed to holding on an annual basis. Hopefully the event will recommence in 2022, all being well. This event could not be held if we did not look at additional revenues of income. And these include holding a Domino Flower with Burn supper in January, coffee morning later in the year, and the Bright Eyed Daughters also provide the catering for the overseas night held at the Common Riding. In 2019, we were lucky to receive a couple of donations to support the Education Day, and we thank those that donated. The Bright Eyed Daughters have over the past few years maintained the ground at Horns Hole, and recently we have been actively supporting the Hawick volunteer group to clear this area so that the project to replant Horns Hole can start in the next few weeks. The Bright Eyed Daughters also give assistance to the Moss Troopers at their annual Gymkhana held at the Mayor on the afternoon of Kirking Sunday.
Thanks, Libby. A fitting end to our concert this evening is a duet by Joyce Tinlin, our first president, and Debbie Lyons, guest speaker at our first dinner, who will sing Old Hawick My Dreams.
Old Hawick, my dreams are all of thee, thy storied wines and streets, and stirring o'er the seas I see
Thank you, Debbie and Joyce, great as always. And thank you for joining us, and hopefully tonight we'll have given you a little insight to what we do as Bright Eyed Daughters. Thank you to all our entertainers, accompanists and speakers, and to Leslie for the slideshows. A special thanks to the film and sound crew of Ronald Jewell, Scott Mitchell, Ewan Welsh and Leslie Fraser. This just leaves me to say on behalf of Bright Eyed Daughters, may we wish you a great common riding, depending on what you are able to do.